It's Wednesday. Welcome to our Wednesday Wellness Tip. Today's psychological tip comes from a renowned American businessman, Harvey Mackay. He wrote this story probably 25 or 30 years ago, but the principles are so relevant. And he relates how at that time in his life, he was traveling a lot and doing a lot of speaking engagements in and out of airports. And of course, this was before Uber, so he had to use a lot of taxi cabs. And usually his experience in a taxi cab was not the most pleasant thing. The taxi cabs would be dirty, or, the windows would be rolled down and his hair would be blown everywhere. And sometimes the drivers would be weaving in and out of traffic to make him a nervous wreck before he got to his destination. So one particular day, he's waiting for a cab driver outside of an airport, and this cab pulls up. First of all, it caught his eye because it was meticulously spotless. And with that, the driver got out. He had a white shirt on with a black tie and nicely pressed pants. And he hands him a laminated card and he said, "I'm Wally and I'm your driver today. And you can read my mission statement while I pack your bags into the trunk." Well, this just blew Mr. Mackay away because he was not used to this. And the mission statement he was so impressed with because the mission statement said, "My mission is to get you to your destination in the safest, cheapest, most comfortable and friendly environment way possible." So again, this just blew him out of the water. And the inside of the cab was just as meticulous as the outside. And as he got in, Wally said, "Would you like some coffee? I have a thermos up here of decaf or regular." And Mr. Mackay is like, "I'm really more of a soft drink person." And Wally says, "No problem. I have a cooler. I have water, Diet Coke, or regular Coke." So again, Mr. Mackay's blown away and says, "I'll take a Diet Coke." Then he hands him another card and says, "Here are the stations that I have on my radio. And what would be your preference for these stations?" So it was just service after service, and Mr. Mackay was just completely astounded. So then he asked Wally, "Have you always been like this?" And Wally said, "No." He said, "At one time I was what's called a duck, complaining about, the job, and complaining about this or that, frustrated." He said, "And then I read a book by Dr. Wayne Dyer called You'll See It When You Believe It." And of course, this piqued my interest because I'm a huge Wayne Dyer fan. And he said, "If you wake up in the morning and you believe you're going to have a bad day, then guess what? You do." And so Wayne Dyer said you can either be like a duck and quack and complain, or you can soar like an eagle. And so Wally at that time decided to change his attitude and change his strategy. And he would just start changing one thing at a time, a little at a time. And before you knew it, he had customers that would call him on his cell phone, would schedule with him before they even got to his city. And he ended up, the first year, he made double the amount of money that he had made the previous year. And the next year, he was on track to quadruple his income. And so clearly, this customer service, the first impression, made a huge difference. And so this is a lesson for us. Do we want to be a duck, or do we want to soar and fly like an eagle? How can we make small steps to improve our own lives or improve our service to others, improve who we're being to others so that we too can soar like an eagle. So that's our psychological tip for today.